What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports leagues, whether it be MLB, NHL, NBA, or NFL, games, news, highlights, all that fun stuff. We're here to talk. And today it's Wednesday, an MLB segment for anyone that's been following us for basically the whole summer. That means middle of the week kind of check-in time as we end the early week series and get into, some of the weekend series that will be coming up, after this one. But, with that being said, Nick, it's been, quite a season. Can't believe we're already going to be in August, but, this is where it kind of, begins to ramp up. And when we take a look at the standings, obviously there's been a lot of moves made as well from a lot of contenders. But if there's a move that could already be graded as the greatest move so far, it's probably what the New York Yankees have done, getting Jazz Chisholm. That basically seems like he, has been super clutch in another big win over Philadelphia last night. I think they've already clinched that series. They're on a 4-game winning streak. So sometimes a team that just needs an extra bat gets really hot, and now the whole team is feeling themselves as they are now just spring baseball games getting back on track, and now only a half game behind the Baltimore Orioles for the number one spot in the American League East. And, that's a huge credit to what they've been doing. They're, insanely good now with getting a bat like Jazz that just, need to provide a spark to this team.
That bat now, we saw it last night, and I think we're going to start seeing it a lot more, is teams are now going to be punished for just walking Soto and Judge, because before Jazz, that was the plan against the Yankees, is walk those two guys and then nobody behind them can hit. But now all of a sudden you have a guy who can easily hit the ball out of the yard. So teams are either going to have to start pitching to Soto and Judge, which is very dangerous, or walk them and take the risk of Jazz hitting a bunch of 3-run homers. So this trade is working out beautifully for the Yankees. It very well could have just saved their season. Seems like they're right on track to do so. They haven't lost a game since they got him. So shout out to Jack for making that move, I guess. Yankees fans I know they're very excited for him. I don't know what his contract status is and like how long they have him under control, but I'm sure you fork up the money for him if they want to keep him around.
Yeah, fair enough. And then we head over to Boston, where Red Sox, still fighting for a wild card spot. They're in a little bit of a slump right now. And Nick, kind of looking back on the trade deadline, what would you think of the Red Sox day?
I'm happy with the Red Sox. I know they didn't get like the superstar bat or superstar pitcher like a Garrett Crochet. I know there was slight rumors around him with the Red Sox. I didn't think it was going to happen. But the mere fact that they addressed pretty much every need, which was starting pitcher. They got 2 starting pitchers, and James Paxton and Quinn Priester, and they got relievers. And I mean, you could say they got a bat in Danny Jansen. I'm not calling that like a power bat, but it is a right-handed bat, if you want to call it that. So they did, I guess, address that. But Craig Breslow addressed the major issues with the team, and that was the starting pitching and the bullpen. So if those guys end up just sucking, then that's what it is. But the fact that Breslow did his job, this trade deadline, the Red Sox were more active than they've been in the past like 3 or 4 years that I can remember. So I'm happy with it. They got a few good relievers too. It's not just throwaway relievers. Lucas Sims from the Reds is pretty solid. He's been solid, his whole career. And Luis Garcia, I don't know if he's as good as Sims, but I know he's, a hard thrower. So if he can keep it under control, he'll be good. But overall, I'd give the Red Sox like a B or B plus. They just the fact that they address their needs speaks volumes to me.
I'm happy, you said that. Red Sox did make some under the radar moves to try and make that push, and maybe that spark can help as they're in a little bit of a slump right now. But it's a long season. Teams are going to go through slumps. It's the shit that happens. Guardians. They made a couple, obviously, under the radar moves, or they got a guy like Lane Thomas. They shut out the Tigers yesterday. Have been the best team in the American League basically since the season started. They came out of the gate red hot, have kind of maintained that. And right now they look like the best team in the American League. And even when they don't spend too much, they still just find a way to be really good. So I'm happy for them. And then that brings me to my team, the Minnesota Twins, where I'm a little bit ticked off. They didn't do anything at the trade deadline. But, I kind of expected that. I mean, this goes back to 2019 where you had one of the best MLB offenses in history and you needed some pitching and you went to get Sam Dyson. That was your big move. I think he pitched like 2 games. That was it. And then you were like, to compete with the Astros and Yankees, who were also, really good. They were all like around like 102 wins, all of them. But what did the Astros do at the trade deadline? They went to go get Zach Greinke. And what did that do? Make them go to the World Series. And that year, I forget what the Yankees did, but the Yankees made real moves to help them, eventually sweep the Twins and then in the divisions and then put up a good fight against the Astros where they lost in 6. But, that was the first time where I was like, damn, like this team really didn't do shit to help out one of the greatest offenses in the MLB, given us the juice ball year. But every team's ball was juiced, setting home run records, all that. And then that's what you do to help your team out. It was just disgusting. And then, 2023, they finally get over the hump, win the World Series. They cut the payroll by $35 million. And then what do they do now? They don't make any moves to help out a team that desperately needed, some pitching. I don't know. It's just, it's fun to enjoy the season. But this is also why probably the Twins are like my least favorite Minnesota sports team. It's just because they have a tendency not to, buy. And, I can respect a team like the Timberwolves going all in the second apron next season, trying to, be a championship team, take what it takes to keep the core together and, build off their WCF run. And, a team like the Vikings, maybe not this year, but they're always, going to spend money. They're going to pay their players like Jefferson that, rightfully deserve it. But here, it took Carl Scray to get rejected 2 times from 2 other teams for him to come back. So it's like, I don't know. It's just, I'm going to enjoy the season. If they win a playoff series, that's great. But when it comes down to it, they're not going to beat a team like the Yankees or, a team like the Orioles that just, are more aggressive and want to win more. And, I get it, finances and stuff. But, the Dodgers, you look at it, you're just not going to compete with those teams.
Do you think with the Twins, it's more so what their acquisitions are going to be is the guys they're getting back from injury?
I mean, like I said,
that would be my positive way of looking at it. I know how
maybe like for the bats, obviously, they might not be hitting the most runs just because, Correa's out, Lewis has been in and out. Same with Miranda. But, when their lineup is healthy, all is fine. But pitching, like, I like him, but like, Jack Flaherty didn't go for much. And then the Dodgers get him. And it's like, you really couldn't do anything. It's like cost you $5 million, but they're just not serious. And when it comes to it in the top heavy teams, eventually, like Bailey Ober's a great story, but when you go down to the pitching, best of 7 series, if you need it, like, what are we doing? Trotting out David Festa in a game 4, like, just like, please guys, like, let's, I mean, they called up, 2019 game 2, they trot out Randy Dobnak, who 6 months before was an Uber driver, and the Yankees fans made sure to remind him of that. So, coincidentally, he's back with the Twins. He tweeted yesterday in a post, "I'm back." So maybe that's the Twins' big move. Jeez, man. Yeah. Next.
I get your frustration, man. Trust me. Like the past 2, 3, even 4 years of the Red Sox have been.
I know what you mean, but like you guys have spent in the past. This team, when they have the greatest offense of all time, will get Sam Dyson, and that's their big move. They've never helped. I get it, the Red Sox. You're frustrated because you go from spending to not spending, but at least you got that high of at some points spending.
No, I know what you
we
mean.
ain't getting no high highs over here. But that's cool with. That's why I'm probably the least the Twins is the team I care about the least. Or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe them or just because I like the Wild too. I like all the teams, but that's the team I probably am the least passionate about, just because they don't care when it comes to winning. And maybe it's just a baseball thing because like the Dodgers, there's a reason why they're gonna smoke you in like a regular season best of three. Same with the Yankees, the Astros. We can talk about them. I mean, they spend even though they actually got robbed, but these teams are willing to spend more than others, and it's just kind of it is what it is.
Yeah, I understand your frustration, man. As a team that's trying to win now, you want your management to buy in, even if it's going to cost you in the future. It's like at some point you got to stop thinking about the future and you got to just say, let's win right now.
Yeah, I mean, but like I'm not even super pissed because this team is good, and if they got Jack Flaherty, I'd be cool with it. But this team isn't going to win the World Series. I mean, if they can't help, like I said, just gonna go back to them. If you can't help out the 2019 Twins, I don't know what team you're going to help out,
Right.
because there's just nothing you can do anymore. But yeah, with that being said, good expected day for my Twins. And then, Royals starting to play some better baseball. 10 games back, above 500, taking advantage. I believe they're playing the White Sox right now in their series. So they're making up some ground. And then, yeah, boy,
I
mean,
I just saw that number, and I know, sorry to interrupt you or go off topic, but that is insane. Negative 222 runs.
18-game losing streak right now, boys. Who
16,
believes?
16.
Oh, 16, whatever. It will be 18 in 2 days.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they glitched the system and it's just, too many L's to keep tab. And so, yeah, shout out the White Sox, man. One of the best, tank jobs of all time.
That's crazy. I can't imagine being. And just a few years ago, they were a really good baseball team. They won the Central.
One of the brightest futures.
Yep, they had so many good young pitchers, and Dylan Cease, Rodon, Giolito. They had Tim Anderson, Eloy, Luis Robert, and that. I mean,
That bullpen, you had Liam Hendricks.
Abreu won COVID MVP. Yeah, they had Hendricks. Like, they had so many pieces, and just
Yohan Moncada. Oh,
yep.
Man.
I mean, this is just.
Well, White Sox are, South Side, it is what it is. Then we head over to the AL West, where the Mariners obviously made their moves at the trade deadline. Their offense definitely has been playing better baseball of late, since getting just a Randy Arozarena. And maybe sometimes it's all it takes. You don't need a Vlad Guerrero Jr. to, bolster your lineup, just, get better. And then the Astros obviously making the Kikuchi move. I think for Blue Jays fans, successful trade, 100% Astros. So I'm not quite sure. Kikuchi has some good stuff, but definitely wouldn't have given up that much for a team that I honestly don't think is even that great.
They honestly probably could have got Flaherty for what they gave up, which would have been a much better move, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then the Astros, I just don't think they might prove me wrong. They might go back, but I honestly think like a team like the Orioles, Yankees, Guardians would beat them in a series. But the Astros, we have the experience, but just not quite the haul I'd give up for a team that maybe on the last leg of a historic run. Then we move over to the NL West, NL, but it will be the NL East, where Nick, man, the Phillies are in a slump. And it is what it is. Every great baseball team, will hit a slump in 100, whatever it is, 62 game season, but lost 3 in a row, blew the last one to the Yankees, lost 2 out of 3 to the injured Twins. I mean, they just, haven't been playing their best baseball, and, hopefully, time will come around and they'll, be able to figure something out.
All they're doing right now is letting the Braves and Mets hang around, because when it gets to that, last month or month and a half, you never know what happens.
Yeah.
If the Braves or Mets go on like a 8-game win streak and the Phillies continue to play like this, who knows what happens in those last week or two of the season where the division could be up for grabs, which is crazy to say, and it probably won't happen. But the fact that the Phillies keep losing games, they're keeping that possibility alive of this division isn't closed out. They could have close to 70 wins by now if they were playing even just 500 baseball. But I want to give a big shout out to the Mets for just sticking with it.
Yeah.
They were in the gutter the first month and a half, and now they're probably the hottest team in baseball the past 2 months, if I'm being honest.
They're going to be hot, and then September will roll around, and they'll cool right back off. NL Central, I think just arguably one of the most slept on teams, the Milwaukee Brewers. I feel like when we talk about them, we just kind of say, yeah, Brewers, first place. But consistently always like 15, 10 plus games above 500. They're always playing solid baseball. They're never like on a super hot streak where they're 9-1, but they're never a team. I feel like this season that's gone on like that cold streak, like even the Phillies have. They're always like, playing 6-4 in their last 10, 7-3. At worst, maybe 5-5. They're just kind of, riding the coastline, and I respect that. They've been a really solid team, and definitely still the heavy favorites to win the Central, despite the hot baseball Pirates have been playing. That Paul Skeens acquisition has just kind of made them live up to the hype. Finally, Nick, the Reds are kind of separated themselves a couple games out of last place, so our prediction may look better. But still just eye-popping now. They're plus 44. You see the Cardinals minus 44, and the Cardinals still have a 3-game edge. But, I still think the Reds can catch them.
We are seeing the Cardinals slowly drop. That run differential is kind of increasing. I think it was at like negative
minus
30 or
30.
something.
Yeah.
Like the All-Star break. It's getting lower and lower. They just traded away Dylan Carlson, which is – I know their bats aren't going great, but that's just going to hurt them. Mm-hmm. So – We're gonna see. We're gonna see what these teams are made of. I really hope the Pirates can like find their way into the playoffs. I think that would be fun to see. Paul Skeens postseason pitching. Never know what happens in the playoffs. Say he wins them a wild card game, then Jared Jones goes out there and wins them a wild card game. All of a sudden they're in the NLDS. That would be really fun to see.
So you said Jerry Jones for a second. I was like,
no, not Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is doing whatever.
Jerry Jones ain't winning the wild card games out here.
No.
Shout out the Cowboys. And then last division, want to give a shout out to the Pirates. Not Pirates. I mean Pirates too, but Padres and the Diamondbacks. The D-backs were a team. I talked about second half sleeper that could kind of potentially come on. Corbin Carroll hit a walk-off, I believe 2-run home run in, I believe it was Monday's game. So overall, D-backs are playing better baseball. I think they're finally starting to come around and, may just be a summer hope, but I think Jordan Montgomery will have a better second half. Corbin Carroll, you still have Ketel Marte, CJ Walker. So I mess with that team, and hopefully, I think they're a sleeper to kind of, come back and, make the wild card.
The fact that they're the highest scoring team in that division with the Dodgers in that division is kind of crazy to me. I mean, it shows that if their pitching, was somewhat okay, then they'd probably be in contention, not just like for the top wild card, but maybe for the division, because Jordan Montgomery has been not good this year. He's got, I think, an over 6 ERA. That's looking like very rough signing. Zach Gallen hasn't been what he has been. What are you going to go ahead?
I was just going to say, just think if Zach Gallen pitched the way you expected him, Jordan Montgomery, if he just came in, did what he did with Texas and Corbin Carroll to build off his season and all that, this team could arguably be first place.
Yeah,
if not
exactly.
higher.
But I think both of us, I predicted the Padres were going to take off. You predicted Diamondbacks. Padres
look like geniuses right now.
Yeah. The Padres made some big moves at the deadline. They got Tanner Scott, which is going to be huge for them. But I'm trying to remember, did the Diamondbacks make any, like crazy moves? I can't remember.
I don't think it was anything crazy. I think, just some small stuff. But, like I said, I think their second half will be on those guys, Zach Gallen, Jordan Montgomery, Corbin Carroll. How do they look the second half? And can they, build off what TJ Walker, Ketel Marte have done to try and carry this offense? And even then their offense, like we said, is higher scoring than the Dodgers still. Yep. So the offense hasn't been a problem for this team. But hopefully, they can continue that.
Mhm.
But with that being said, obviously, trade deadline has come and passed. On maybe a separate video, we'll grade all the moves or kind of look back a month from now to see. Obviously, that we can say the Jazz one looks like an A already. And even then, yeah, looking very good so far. Like I said, we're about to get into August, the big months of the season where everything is on the table heading into September. So it should be fun, and we'll be here to talk about everything that happens. But with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Let us know in the comments who you think was a winner or the loser of the trade deadline, and we'll catch you next one. Peace.